So let's go ahead and multiply. Let's say I want to multiply 1.02, and I want to multiply that by 0.3. The way I'm going to multiply these, I'm going to look at the number just like if there is no decimal point. That's 102 times the 3. 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 0, 0. 3 times 1, 3. Now let's count. How many digits you have to the right of the decimal point? To the right of the decimal point. I don't care about the left. This one. How many digits to the right of the decimal point? 2 of them. The 0 and the 2. How many digits to the right of the decimal point here? 1. Let's add them. What's 2 plus 1? 3. Start from the end and move your decimal point how many places? 3 places to the left. 1, 2, 3. And there's your decimal point. So what's the answer? 0.306. If you want to write that 0.306, that's fine too. Some people like to put the 0 in the front, others don't put it. Which one is better? It's up to you. We don't care which one. Let me take another one. 2.81 times 3.5. Write the numbers without the decimal point. And let's multiply. 5 times 1, 5. 5 times 8, 40. 0, carry 4, right? 5 times 2, 10 and 4, 14. Now let's try the 3. 3 times 1, 3. 3 times 8, 24. 4, carry 2. 3 times 2, 6 and 2, 8. 5, 3, 8, 9. Again, let's count. How many digits to the right of the decimal point? 2. How many to the right of this decimal point? 1. 2 plus 1 equals what? 3. Let's move the decimal point 3 places. Start from the end. 1, 2, 3. So my decimal point will be right there. So the answer is 9.835. .24 times 6. Write the number without the decimal point, 24 and 6. Let's multiply. 6 times 4, 24. 4 carry 2. 6 times 2 and 2. Now let's count again. How many digits to the right of the decimal point here? 2. How many here? Try again. Angelica, there's none because that's point here, right? To the right of the decimal point, there's nothing. 0. What's 2 plus 0? 2. Move it 2 places, it lands right here if you start from the end. So what's the answer? 1.44.
So you go right to left?
You start from here, and you go 1, 2 when you move it. You always start from the end of the number, and you move it to the left. Okay, let's add some smaller numbers. Let's say I want to multiply 0.26 times 0.03. Without the decimal point, that's 26 times what? 3. 3 times 6, 18. 8 carry 1. 3 times 2 is 6 and 1, 7. How many digits to the right of the decimal point here? 3. How about this one? 2. When you add them, what do we have? 5. So you're going to start from the end, and you're going to move your decimal point how many places? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any empty spot, you have to put what in it? 0. So it's 0.00078. And I bet you if I took my calculator out and I multiplied these numbers, if I said, can you tell me what is 0.026 times 0.03, it should say 0.00078. Yep. Let's make the problem a little bit bigger. I have 0.4. I want to multiply that by 0.26. I don't know why 26 in my mind today. Times a 0.15. Again, no calculator. When you're multiplying three numbers, let's multiply the first two numbers, get an answer to that, then we'll multiply it by the 0.15. So here we go. 26 times 4. I like to write the bigger number on the top, the smaller number on the bottom. It doesn't really matter, but that's the way I like them. 4 times 6, which is what? 24. 4 carry 2. 4 times 2, 8. And 2, 10. How many digits to the right of the decimal point here? 1. How about this one? 2. What's 1 and 2? 3. Let's move this 3 places. Start from here. 1, 2, 3. So the answer to this purple box is what? 0.104. Now you're going to multiply that by 0.15. Again, let's write the numbers without the decimal point. 104 times the 15. 5 times 4 is 20. 0 carry 2. 5 times 0, 0 and 2, that's a 2. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 4. 4. 1 times 0. 1 times 1. 1. 0, 6, 5, 1. Again, let's count. How many digits here? 3. How many to the right of the decimal point? 2. When you add them, that's what? 5. Start from the end and move it 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice I'm missing a number here. So what's my answer? 0.01560. Now, you probably get this one wrong if you leave it like this. Why? That 0 at the end is useless. So they probably want you to simplify that 0.0156. I don't know if they'll mark this one wrong or they'll accept it, but a safer answer, unless they say round your answer to nearest, this is 10th, 100th, 1000th, 10,000, 100,000. If they said nearest 100,000, then you leave the 0 there. But if they don't say that, they just want the answer, that's the one I will give them. Let's take you back to chapter 1. We did order of operations. You are given this problem. What are you supposed to do first? Parentheses. Well, you can't simplify what's inside the parentheses. That's a number, 0.4. So what comes after that? Exponents. It says 0.4 squared. What does that mean when something is squared? Multiply it by itself, yes. So here we go, 4.4 times 0.4. Let's do that. I go to the side and I multiply them. 4 times 4, that's 16. I have to move the decimal point how many places here? There's one digit here and one digit here. That's 2 places. 1, 2. So this is 3 minus 0.16. Now there is no parentheses, there is no exponents. What's the next one? We do subtractions. That's 3 point, that's what the point is, and the other number 0.16. I need to subtract them. I can make them the same size by adding zeros. Notice 6 from 0 you can't. You borrow 1 from this. This becomes what? 2, 9, and this one what? How about 10? 6 from 10. 4, 1 from 9. 8, there's my decimal point. 0 from 2. 2. So the answer to this problem is 2.84. We do have few shortcuts here that you can use. You can take advantage of it. Like what? Let me look at the next example. If I have 8.274 and I want to multiply that by 100, nothing new here. So 8274 by 100. I wrote the numbers without the decimal point. 0 times 4, 0. 0 times 7, 0. 0 times 2, 0. 0 times 8, 0. Let's do it again. 0, 0, 0, 0. And the last one, 1 times 4, 4, 1 times 7, 2, and 8. Let's add them. 0, 0, 4, 7, 2, 8. Now let's see. How many digits here? 3. And how many digits to the right of the decimal point here? None. I don't see even a decimal point. So what's 3 plus nothing? 3, let's move the decimal point. Start from here, move it 3 places to the right. So what's your answer? 827.4. I don't need to write 0, 0 after that. Now let's take the same number, there's a plan why I'm doing this, and multiply it by 1,000 instead of 100. 274, I missed the 7, I said the same number, I left something out. So write the number without the decimal point, 8274. Multiply it by 1,000. 0 times these numbers will give me 4 zeros. Next one, 4 zeros. Next one, 4 zeros. And finally the 1. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 8 is 8. 0, 0, 0, 4, 7, 2, 8. Now, how many digits here? To the right of the decimal point? 3. How many to the right of the decimal point? None. I gotta move it how many places? 3. You move it 3 places, that's where your decimal point is. So your number is what? 8274. Did anyone notice anything when you multiply by 100, by 1,000, or by a 10? There's a shortcut to that. I just wanted to show you.
Zeros.
How many zeros we have here? 2. Move the decimal point 2 places to the right. Number of zeros. Isn't that 827.4? How many zeros here? 3. Move it 3 places. 1, 2, 3. 8274. So if I take 8.274 and I go times 10, I don't want to multiply that out. I'm going to move the decimal point to the right. How many places here? 1. Why? Because you only have 1 zero. That would be 82.74. No reason to do all this math. So you can get the answer much quicker by just memorizing that simple rule. You get, if you have 1 followed by, it has to be 1 followed by zeros. It can't be 200. It has to be 1 with zeros. You're multiplying by 10, by 100, by 1,000. Then you just move the decimal point to the right. How many places? The number of zeros in that number. So if I write this quickly, 0.02485, and I go times 10, what is the answer? 0.2485. Yes, you move the decimal point. Did you want to what? 1 place to the right? So 0.2485. 0.02485 times 100. What are you doing, both of you? Put that thing away. Come on. Shakim, wake up.
I'm tired.
Yep, tired. I don't care. You're going to move it how many places? 2. So let's move it 2 places. What is that? 2.485. 0.2485 times 1,000. How many places? 3 places to the right. 1, 2, 3. That becomes 24.85. 0.02485 times 10,000. You move it how many places? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 248.5. And that's what the shortcut is. If I play games with you, I go, okay, what is 0.2485? I'll make this easy. Times 30. Jakim, what do you do there?
You multiply. Oh, no, the decimal.
Move the decimal point?
Yeah.
Notice he's wrong.
You gotta multiply.
You have to multiply.
There's no one followed by
That's why you gotta stay awake. Because it has to be 1 followed by zeros. Once that number is not a 1, that rule does not apply.
Oh, wow. I was close.
So you have to go 2485 times 30. 0, 0, 0, 0. 3 times 5, 15. 3 times 8, 24, and 1, 25. 3 times 4, 12, and 2, 14. 3 times 2, 6, and 1, 7. 0, 5, 5, 4, 7. And we're going to move the decimal point. Let's count here. How many? 4. How many here? 0. 4 plus 0, which is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the answer is 7.455. Notice not even the same number. So when that number is not a 1 followed by zeros, you got to multiply it out. You can't just use the shortcut. And the last thing which our book keeps bringing back is estimation. Again, you want to estimate. I'm not looking for the exact answer. I'm looking for a neighborhood answer. So if I have 0.703 times 0.85, you got that one wrong there? And the question is estimate. Yep. So estimate, that'll be what when you look at that? That's 0.7. Right? And that number here at nearest 10th will be what? This is the 10th location. You look at that number, is that 5 or more? No, that's why it's 0.7. This is the 10th location. Is that number 5 or more? Yes, add 1 to this. Now let's multiply. What's 7 times 1? 7. Move the decimal point how many places? There's one digit, there's another one. I'm not using these, I'm using these numbers. So it's 1 and 1, that's how many places? 2. So it should be 0.07. Notice actually, if I go to my calculator and multiply the numbers, I'm not going to be that far from that number. There we go. 0.703 times 0.085. 0.059, which is 0.06 roughly. But I'm looking for a neighborhood answer. I'm not looking for the exact answer. 0.06, 0.07, yeah, that's close enough. So when it says estimate, you need to round them first, then do the math. Now the another one will do estimate. And let's say I have 0.001 or 19 times 0.084. Especially if they don't tell me estimate to what. If you round this to nearest 10th with a TH, that's the 10th. This number becomes what? 0. 0 times anything is what? 0. So that's a waste of my time. So in a case like this where your answer is going to be 0, maybe I should round it to nearest what? 100th instead of 10th. This is the 100th location. Uh-oh. What happens here? This number is also what? 0. Uh-oh. Maybe I should go 1,000th. Nearest 1,000, that's this one. I just made that number. It probably wasn't a good number to choose. So that becomes 0.002 times. I'll probably make this 0.08, round nearest 10th. They don't have to be the same size because I'm looking for a neighborhood. They don't have to be rounded to the same digit. We're looking for estimation. What's 2 times 8? 16, but you got to move the decimal point how many places here? 5. Start from the end and move it 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, 0, 0, 1, 6. So sometimes you even have to change your rounding, some to nearest tenth, some to nearest hundredth, because I want to do something in my head without a calculator. I don't want to spend too much time on them. 2 times 8, 16, move the decimal point. Oh, that's it. Quick way to get to the math. And that's the end of this section. I'll stop the camera here.